What's up, and welcome to 5280 Film Room.
We're a Colorado sports podcast by fans for fans.
Please subscribe, rate, and review, and also follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
You can also email us your input, questions, and ideas at 5280filmroom@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening. Hey Broncos country, this is 5280 Film Room. I'm Melissa.
I'm Gideon.
Miles.
And I'm Jordan.
We are recording on Friday, September 28th. Do a quick little recap of last week's matchup against the Ravens. Not great.
Kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Sloppy. That's the word that
Lots of
defines that
penalties.
game. Sloppy.
Yep, 13 penalties for 120 yards. You're not going to win a lot of games doing that.
You won't win any
And the
games
block
doing
in the
that.
back
That's
on the punt block.
unacceptable.
Was that the punt block? Or is that a...
That was
Chris
the
Harris's-
field goal block.
yeah.
Field
It's a
goal
field goal
block,
block.
yeah.
I feel like that was really the ultimate momentum change in the game. Like, that was the last straw that broke us. It was just, we're not coming back. Like, obviously we're handing the game over to them at this point.
Yep.
And
One who was so far away from the play that I don't think the flag should have been called, but the Broncos players shouldn't have done that.
Right.
You're out of the play.
They were
Don't do
2
that.
yards in front of the ref.
on
They
top
were
of it,
right
like,
there.
Don't be an idiot.
The ref's
Yeah.
like, I don't want to run all the way down there to confirm a touchdown. Flag.
It was brutal. It was not pleasant.
I don't know. I think
Top to bottom, just bad.
last straw was Lindsey, but...
But he was ejected before that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he was ejected in the second
But I feel
quarter.
like we still had, Booker stepped up big time.
No, he
And
did,
was
yeah.
running hard, and I think, we had what it took. But then our defense was making the right plays, and then all of a sudden, penalties started amounting more and more. But I think even after Lindsey got ejected, personally, I think that the Broncos had a chance.
There
at
were some
least.
bursts
No,
of
we definitely
momentum
did.
that just never were capitalized on.
Well, we had the block punt and then a touchdown after that.
Yeah,
So,
we started
that
out
was-
hot. The first
yeah.
quarter was amazing. I was like, let's go Broncos. We're going to go in Baltimore's home and just demolish these guys. But that's all it was. And
Do you think they just got too comfortable after a successful first quarter?
I mean, our defense, obviously our secondary is suspect. And Miles, you were telling me yesterday, they underestimated John Brown. And
Yeah,
It's
he was
it's one of those,
rocketing himself
it's one of
over
those
across the
situations
field
where
like
it's
a Tyreek
like,
Hill.
Right.
as a defender in the pros, you might not have heard of this guy or you heard of him, but you never played against him. And it's like, all right, this dude's fast. He's really fast. And it's like, okay,
No,
this
he's
guy's fast. But
explosive
then actually
and
when he's on the
dynamic.
field in front of you and you realize how fast he is, I think our secondary wasn't even ready.
And not even just the speed, but what he was able to do in big moments in terms of just playmaking. Reading our defense and just breaking it open.
I mean, we slowly started to defend him better and better just because I feel like Flacco was targeting him more along the sideline. And those are pretty easy passes to defend as long as you can not
Keep up
interfere.
with-
Not interfere in a
keep up with the
penalty-wise,
receiver.
but interfere with the catch.
Right.
Once a ball is tipped, anything can go. Things like that. Making sure that this guy doesn't have a chance at catching it. So maybe he's not a great route runner in the terms of getting out on some posts or some ins or outs or some wheel patterns or whatever. Maybe he is just a fly guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're not a great route runner, the speed makes up for it.
Oh no!
Especially when
that
there's that
might-
expectation isn't necessarily there. on
I'm
defense.
thinking more young Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah,
That's all he did was just run
Just
down
go
the
deep,
field.
yeah. Or like Mike Wallace.
Yeah.
Just go deep.
Yeah.
Outrun everybody. I'll throw it to you. And that's what he did. And he looked good doing it.
and between what the Ravens brought to the table, our horrible mile-high pile of penalties, and some poor coaching, and Case really just underperforming beginning to end.
for the second straight week.
Yeah. He has a lot to straighten out coming up against the Chiefs.
It's been
And
rough.
I'm a huge, I like Case Keenum. I want him to be a successful quarterback here, but he's under-delivering.
Yeah, and with the Broncos being 4th in rushing offense, it's not all on his shoulders. But when he drops back to pass, it kind of feels like he's putting it all on his shoulders. Like he just needs to look to the check down guy and just take that if he has to. In my opinion, it just seemed like he was holding on to the ball way too long.
Oh, forever. And trying to be the hero. Like, trying to find the Minnesota Miracle play instead of just doing his job.
Yeah, don't win the battle, don't win the war. Win the battle ahead. Progress and win more battles than they do.
One step at a time.
Yeah, get the first down.
It seemed like he was
penalties.
trying to just find the shortcut.
Yeah.
Instead of one step at a time going, oh, but if I can find a way to get us 5 steps ahead. And it never panned out, and it's not going to. It was frustrating, to say the least.
Being a Vikings fan, I don't know how much you followed them last year, but well, it's a good question. How often did you follow the Vikings last year?
Very casually.
Okay.
Yeah, casually. Obviously Broncos are my team. My whole family's from Minnesota, so I would watch games here and there, but I wouldn't say I was paying super close attention.
Whatever pops up on Sports Center or whatever.
Right, or when we're out at the sports bar and the Vikings are the morning game and Broncos are afternoon. That was the game I was watching, in addition to the other 8 games on the other 8 TVs in the bar. So it was on my radar, but I wouldn't say I was eagle-eyeing anything. And I wish I was, because I feel like I'd have a better idea of how to gauge Case's performance here versus what he was able to do last year in Minnesota.
Yeah, and that's kind of just a small sample because it's a completely different system, personnel, coaching. Everything's different.
Exactly.
Except Case.
Getting new chemistry with your receivers.
Yeah, it was a different system for sure, but it's like the weapons kind of seem the same. Like having Thielen and Diggs, DT and Sanders, they seem kind of equivalent.
Some comparable elements.
I
And
think
a
they
good
have
running
a better
game.
tight end.
Yes.
Yes.
Than anybody on our
for
team.
sure.
Tyler Rudolph.
Yeah, Hireman's definitely going to have to
fantastic.
step up. Is this a good...
Yeah, on top of that heartbreaking loss, we got the news a couple days ago or yesterday.
I think it was yesterday.
It was yesterday, yeah.
Jake Butt out.
Non-contact
rest of the
injury.
season.
I feel so
How
bad
does that
for him.
happen? Can someone give me some insight on how you
Well,
can tear?
I mean,
it's an ACL injury, right?
Torn ACL, yeah. Coming from somebody who had a partially torn ACL on a non-contact injury, it happens. It's a fluke play.
Okay.
So just making a cut and then...
For me personally, I was doing an out route, 10 yards out, go straight to the sideline. When I planted to go out, my knee just buckled and went right down to the floor or the turf. It was rough.
it can
I
just
don't know.
happen that fast.
Oh yeah, easy.
Oh my gosh. it's
Well,
so
at the same time, I think Gideon and I were talking about this, but I'm pretty sure. Now, I don't know if you guys saw Jimmy Garoppolo's injury, but I'm pretty sure his was non-contact as well,
Yeah.
because he cut back in.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably more bang bang because he was cutting in, and on that cut in from the sideline is when he was hit, and I think the injury happened prior to the hit.
Okay.
But it happens. It's not fun.
No.
Speaking from experience.
I just feel so bad for him.
Yeah, especially after being out all last year, and now,
this is the other knee?
I think so,
That's
which is not promising.
No.
It's
It's
just
going to
kinda
make
left.
his initial injury, that leg, more strong. I think his first one was his left. So I think this one's his right. Might as well, I don't know.
Yeah, is it worse having both knees or
Well, now he's just
damaging
gonna
one knee twice?
strengthen
Exactly.
the knee that's already healing while his current knee heals. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what would
That's
be
just
worse.
wishful thinking.
I think there's
Right.
But that's
there-
two ACL injuries in 2 years.
Yeah,
two and a half.
There's
It's
definitely
brutal.
worse injuries to have, but I think at the position he's at, it's going to be hard for him to put up the production and justify where we drafted him.
Well, it was a 5th-round pick, but
Yeah.
yeah.
He's 5th-round pick, but, how much is he going to
Lindsay
produce?
had a torn ACL his
Exactly.
senior year of high school. So it's
If he comes back from it,
That'd
he
be
was
solid.
projected as like a 1st or 2nd round talent in the draft, but because of his injury, now he's injured again. So it's
There's some
like,
serious concern.
if he doesn't produce a 5th-round pick, I don't think that's that bad. Like, if he
Not
was
a huge
actually a 2nd-round
salary
pick,
hit.
yeah. But,
Still not great.
no.
Nope.
It was his right knee in 2016. New injury is to the left knee.
Left knee.
Yeah.
It's the opposite.
Yeah.
And what's
So-
crazy, I mean, speaking from
Brutal week,
experience,
Broncos country.
'cause he's more of a receiving tight end, or is he kind of just a hybrid?
He's probably the best hybrid that the Broncos have, in my opinion.
All right. Because, I mean, regardless, either way, I mean, for me personally, the injury with my ACL really inhibited the lateral movement.
Okay.
And with route running, I could see that becoming a pretty big factor with losing a step, especially with both knees being affected now.
Right. You don't
now-
have a strong side anymore.
Now, yeah, but I also don't have top-of-the-line, world-class
That's true.
resources at my disposal to rehab from that injury. He does. He's probably getting surgery. I had a partial tear. My ACL is maybe like 85%.
You didn't have surgery?
Partials don't require.
Okay.
Because they
Gotcha.
can
Yeah,
heal,
they
they
do
can
a
heal
test.
over. Yeah.
To like, if you can't bend at a certain degree, then they can do surgery. But if you can go past a certain degree at bending, it's like, all right, well,
You just gotta
Okay.
wait
we're
it
gonna
out
do
and
more
let it
damage
heal
going
up.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Well, and who's... I didn't look at the Broncos depth chart. Who's third? Is that Trailer for tight ends?
Oh gosh, that's a really good
'Cause we
question.
got Hireman, number
We should
one.
know that.
So it's time for Hireman to step up.
Definitely. He needs to just start really pushing himself to the forefront.
Breaking news: Tony Gonzalez has come out of retirement for the Denver Broncos.
Let's get Shannon Sharp back.
That dude's looking fly.
I know.
Like he's
I'm
having a good time in life right now.
The only other guy that we've got is who's it? Matt Lacoste.
Oh, Matt Klaus. That's right. Okay, this is his opportunity.
Yeah,
At least
he's
per
gotta
depth
take
chart. I
advantage
don't
of
know
it.
if he's listed as other, so I think he might be on the practice squad.
Okay.
Welcome to the big
Or-
leagues, bro.
And it's got to be Lacoste.
But I mean, Fumagali's out.
Yeah. Injured.
Jake Butt's out. I mean, that doesn't bode well for our two most recent tight ends.
Acquisitions and tight
Opens
ends.
roster spots. Like
For
maybe they just give Hireman the full blown go ahead.
I just think if NFL eliminated the tight end position, we'd be fine. We haven't had a tight end in like 5 years,
great.
and we
That's
can't
great.
cover tight ends.
That's a realistic solution to
Well,
the problem.
I mean, that's very possible that we could not even run a tight end set and just have 4 receivers, slot back, go ham. Maybe that's what Case needs. No tight
Maybe.
end.
Well, and even Harmon, he could line up as a wide receiver. He's
Yeah.
got the speed.
Let's bring Julius Thomas back out of retirement.
No, he's gonna be a doctor.
Yeah. He's studying neuroscience.
No, I know.
Good.
Well,
luck.
here's hoping, and I say this, here's hoping for a better game on Monday Night Football. It's going to be another really hard game. We are matching up against the Chiefs.
I don't know. I think this is the hardest game we've had.
It's going to be tough. The
Thus
one
far.
thing, I am glad it's a home game. We do have that home field advantage, which I think is a huge factor. If you're looking for a home to buy, you should check out our guy, Steele Krause, with Osgood Team Real Estate. He's like one of my best family friends ever. And you can reach him at 303-587-5417 to find your own personal home field advantage. Was that cheesy enough? I tried.
That was perfect.
Oh,
That was
thank you.
perfect.
We love you, Steele. Broncos, Chiefs, Monday Night Football. At least we're at home, but I agree with you, Miles. I think this is our toughest matchup yet, and I think it does not help that it's on the big stage of Monday Night Football. I think that is
This
a
is what the
disadvantage
NFL
for the
wanted.
Broncos.
Well, do you think the big stage might get into Mahomes' head?
No.
Like he's
It's gonna be
I don't
a test.
understand. He seems like he's unflappable.
No,
Well, I
that's,
mean,
that's it's
with
gonna
the-
be the real test. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Like it's here in Denver. I on my speed round said we were gonna lose this game. I still think it's gonna be really close. But it's gonna be the real test for Patrick Mahomes. He's going up against a solid defense. I mean, our secondary still needs some work, and they definitely need to step their game up. But our pass rush is real, and our run defense is real.
How do you stop
it's-
Tariq Hill? Like, what is?
I don't even
how do you
know
do that?
if you
I don't even
can.
think just worry about it. Like, play
qu-
cover
well,
2
He's quicker. I mean,
and let her.
their offense is faster than John Brown or anybody on the Ravens.
Oh,
yeah.
Between Kareem Hunt, Tyreek Hill, even Mahomes. I mean, they're quick, and that's going to be tough for us.
They're going to be gunning for Kelsey all day.
It just- it
I'm
just-
not even worried about Hill. Like, they're going to be targeting Kelsey all day.
Like with Watkins,
I don't know.
Hill, Kelsey, and Hunt, it just seems like Mahomes just sits back and he just finds the open guy.
Slings it.
Because somebody's always open.
That's how Alex Smith was when he first started with the Chiefs, too. He was like, I don't know, this way.
Right.
Touchdown. Like, that.
The thing that bodes well for Mahomes is he has more mobility as far as quickness than Alex, and his arm is way stronger.
Yeah.
I mean, he was rifling in passes. I mean, there's one pass I saw from last week that he, I think, rolled out to the left, came back around to the right, and then just whipped it in for a touchdown in the back corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a
And
cannon.
that's going to be hard to defend against, especially against the speed if a play breaks down. Now, we do have Von Miller and Bradley Chubb.
Right.
But-
If the Broncos show up and have one of their best days,
We need to.
it'll be a neck-to-neck contest.
Mm-hmm.
But if they show up with the lack of coordination and planning and like everything just fell apart against the Ravens, if that's the team that shows up on Monday night, we're in a lot of trouble. But being week 4, the end of this first kind of quarter of games, I think this is kind of a make or break not make or break moment. Well, yeah, no, it is a make or break moment. I think this is a chance for the Broncos to kind of make a decision about who they're going to be.
Well, and if the Broncos get blown out, what do you think happens? Do you think somebody gets fired?
I think it's too
Hey,
early
no,
for
no,
that.
No?
No.
But I
If we
think
lose,
Okay.
we're 2-2. It's
right,
fine.
but it's about the momentum,
What if it's
Gideon.
like 45-10?
It's about
I could
the
see
momentum.
a coordinator getting fired. I could see something happening.
Not that
You're right,
early.
though. It would be
Not
2-2,
that early.
and
we
it's
were
not
5-11
the end of the
last
world
year.
by
We're-
any means.
So,
But-
do you think someone gets fired if we don't make the playoffs this
Well,
year?
didn't Adam Gase
Yes.
get fired after like 5 games last year? It was pretty quick.
I don't remember.
4 or
I
5
don't remember
games.
the exact week.
Yeah, it was early. I mean,
I
this
mean,
is a
I don't
statement
think
game.
it should be a knee-jerk reaction, but I think it matters in terms of momentum. If they stall out again,
Yep.
that's going to mean something, especially to the fan base.
And it could turn into a losing streak like we had last year,
Right.
which is what we don't want. No Broncos fan wants that.
No.
Well, no fan in general wants
And
that.
momentum
But-
is
win.
important.
Yeah.
And you're right, Gid. We're 2-1 right now. Like, and there are a lot of fans that are like full blown. The sky is falling. Like fire Case, fire Vance, burn it all down and start over. I think that's insane, and I
mean,
think that's really overreactive.
To me, the troubling thing is that we had one of the better defenses in the league. But the fact that out of the 2 wins, the point spread is total of 4 points. That part is concerning to me. Because we won by 3 and then we won by 1.
1-1, yeah. They've been close.
And then we got demolished.
I just hope for a good game. In the speed rounds,
Yes.
I picked a win, and I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to pledge myself to the belief that they are going to rally and they are going to be pissed off and embarrassed about the way that they performed against
They
the
should
Ravens.
be.
And they're going to show up and they're going to do something about it. Because there's players on this team that we know well enough and have had the privilege of watching long enough. Emmanuel, Vaughn, Shaq Barrett, Shane Ray, like they're gonna
Chris Harris.
show up and fix things. Chris Harris, right? These leaders on the team.
I just hope they get creative, like with their defensive
Right.
packages and offensive plays. Like, bring 8 every once in a while. Try to throw Mahomes off, or like show 6 people blitzing and then just send 2. Like, try to confuse him. Like, I just hope to see creativity.
Well,
Because going up against Andy Reid, you better be ready to play some chess.
yeah, and that's what you're talking about. Jordan's was a staple of what Wade Phillips brings as a defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I mean, that's who Wade Phillips is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He'll make disguises and blitz and not blitz and
Oh, yeah.
And Joe Woods has to think outside of the box.
Mm-hmm.
He has to be brave enough to do that. Something that is in our favor is the Chiefs' defense is ranked 31st. So if our offense can also they don't have to be creative. They just have to be proficient.
Yes.
They have to be smart in their play calling. They have to be clean and concise in the delivery. This defense is not great. They're not horrible, but they're certainly not great. And so if our offense can pull their weight, I think our defense stands a really good chance of giving Mahomes a run for his money.
I think run. Keep the Chiefs' offense off the field. If you get 4 yards per run play, just keep doing that.
And as much as it absolutely sucked, Phillip getting ejected and that whole thing, it was a bad decision. He fully took responsibility for it, said he felt horrible, that he let his teammates down. He had a lot of guilt. I feel like he's going to come out really ready to fight for his team.
I think
he's been doing that all season.
And now he's got an extra layer of motivation because he wasn't able to do that for the better part of last week's game.
I think it was a little bit of a blessing because the first 2 games, like, we had his spark to kind of change momentum, get that first down or the extra yardage that we absolutely needed at certain points in the game. So I think it was a blessing for us to lose on the road without Phillip Lindsay. And it's like, what happens when we don't have that spark? Like, I saw some flashes of some other players that were trying to make plays happen.
Right.
And we still had a chance at the end of the game. With all of the penalties, all of the bad play calls, all of the bad throws, we still had a chance in the last 5 minutes when it didn't seem like we were going to even be close. But
that's true. Gideon.
I think we're going to
point.
go into this next week with a new attitude, with some good direction on how to make ourselves a better team. And these are all professionals. Majority of our team knows what the Broncos winning atmosphere is and what's expected. And I hope the Broncos win. I just think it's going to be really tough going against this red hot Chiefs offense.
I mean, and we had so many penalties last week. But Jordan looked it up. The Broncos are ranked 27th in penalties, and the Chiefs are rated 25th.
The butt cheeks are rated 25th.
So that was really surprising to me.
Yeah. So we're
Are you
both
sure those
super
are
sloppy.
Yeah. This could be a 7-hour game.
Overtime.
With all the flags flying the entire time.
Well, the Chiefs are ranked last in defensive penalties, so that's where they get all their penalties. Is on defense.
Which bodes well for
that.
our offense.
Yeah.
As long as we're not getting
Easy
offsetting
first down.
penalties.
Right?
Yeah. 10
And that's
yards
the
is 10
thing,
yards.
not giving up those offsetting penalties.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think...
Let's play a clean game.
Yes.
Offense. Offense, control the ball.
Garrett Bowles,
Don't turn it
McGovern,
over.
come on.
I think if we can minimize the penalties and control the ball, the Broncos will be fine.
It was the lack of control that was so apparent against the Ravens. It was just like a free-for-all of we don't know what we're doing. Just go try to play backyard football against the Ravens.
Yeah, once
Not
the
gonna
Broncos
fly.
got down on the scoreboard, it just seemed like they got desperate.
They didn't know what they were doing. Yeah.
Exactly. So I hope
The first
they
quarter
learn.
and a half, play calling was great. Execution was great. We did really well. And then
Is
right
Phillip
before
Lindsay that
halftime
much of
and
a
the rest-
factor? I mean, that times out with when he left, but that doesn't make
He was. I
sense to
feel
me.
like he was going to be the focus of our offense against the
Yeah,
Ravens.
and then they
Well,
just
plus
didn't have
the-
a
He was
backup
gone
plan.
so early. We didn't know what's the game plan, Coach. Guess what? Our secret sneaky play, where we unleash new plays for
Our
this
secret
guy.
sauce has been put on the shelf for the game. What
And
do we
now,
do?
Now we got to do it against the Chiefs. But
There
then
shouldn't
it's
be a
like-
game plan for an entire sneaky
I'm not saying
aspect for
the
one
entire-
player.
But it was
though.
clear that there was. It was
Yeah.
clear that
He
there
was
was
going-
too much
No,
focus
yeah, I
around
get
Phillip.
He's
exactly
going to
where
get
you're
more
coming
than
from.
15 carries.
No, yeah, for sure.
But for the coaching staff not to be able to
To
adjust.
rely on one single player and what their production can be is nowhere. That's not going to win you games
It's
in
a
the
poor
NFL.
game plan.
It's
Yeah.
a rookie mistake
That's
from
coaching.
the
It's
coaching
not
staff.
shitty
saying
coaching.
that's their entire game plan. I'm saying that's the focus.
No, yeah.
And you have to
Number
be
one.
ready for absolutely anything. That was
Yeah.
a horrifically unexpected turn of events. I was like, wait, what? What happened? What did he do? What's going on? He's gone. He's ejected. Like, not even a penalty. No one saw that coming. And clearly, the coaching staff did neither.
Well, how much
There's
of
no
that is
plan.
on the coaching staff and how much of it is on Booker? Like, he should have been able to step in and fill that role.
And I felt like Booker did perfectly fine. I felt like
did
he
fine.
produced better than he has in the past.
Yeah, but
But they didn't game plan for Booker. Booker and Lindsey are completely different running backs. You can't plug and play Booker into what you had planned for Lindsey.
they should be able to adjust, though.
I
I mean, you
think
have
it
Booker on
goes
your
both
depth
ways,
chart. Like,
but-
you should have plays called for Booker if he's in.
Right.
Like, you should be able to plan for this type of stuff.
And there wasn't a plan.
Like, I think Gideon's right about the field goal block and then the penalty on the return. Like, I think that was the change in the game. Because we had all the momentum. And then after that, it just stopped. Because then
Like,
we were
cold
3
in
and out.
its tracks.
3 and out.
Because that
after
was the chance for the momentum to shift. That was the chance for us to take control of the field and then no go
Yeah.
for a penalty. Let's go ahead and do score predictions for this week. Anybody dying to go first?
Then Gideon should go first.
We always make Gideon go first.
Well, in the speed round, I said that the Broncos were going to lose at home, but then win at Arrowhead later in the season. Part of me wants to go back on that, but I'm going to hold strong. I think, unfortunately, the Chiefs are going to squeak out with this, but it's going to be close. I think it's going to be within 6 points, so I'm hoping for 24-18.
Okay.
24-20, something like that.
Okay.
McManus, if you guys need a kicker to pick off the waiver wire, grab McManus. I think he's going to have minimum like 8 to 10 points. So when the Broncos score, I don't think they're going to be touchdowns. They're going to be able to move the ball, but I think we're going to be scoring mostly field goals.
Okay.
All right, Miles, what do you think?
Mostly field goals. All right.
Like 3 field goals and an extra point for McManus.
10 points for McManus on the board.
Unless he drops like a 55-yarder, yeah.
Right?
Then it's like 12 points.
Make it 65.
No, I'm saying 10
Hey.
points on the scoreboard.
Oh. I was talking fantasy score points.
No. I would say, I mean, I picked them to lose. I still think that they're, especially after last week's loss, I think it's not going to be as close as you do. I really hope that this doesn't happen, but I think the Broncos need an eye-opener. I think it's going to be probably like 31-13. 31-10.
Reality.
I think we're not going to get any rushing touchdowns. I hope that Keenum gets a passing touchdown, but given the last 2 weeks, prove me wrong.
There you go.
Prove him
Yeah.
wrong.
Prove me wrong.
Jordan.
All right. I wish I could pick the Broncos to win, but I'm gonna pick them to lose. It's a division game, which are always pretty tight.
Important.
Yeah, division games are always pretty tight, and I think it's gonna be a very high scoring game. I think it's gonna be really close. I think the Chiefs are gonna get up really early, but the Broncos are gonna come back, and I'm gonna go 30-27 Chiefs.
Okay. Well, in the speed round, I was the lone person who picked the Broncos to win. And despite last week's implosion, I'm going to stick with that. Because I think they will have garnered a lot from last week's loss. I think the coaches will come back with a more comprehensive plan. I think the players are going to be fired up and ready to deliver back at home. So I'm also going to do 30-27, but in the favor of the Broncos.
Oh, we got the better kicker. That's what that
We
means.
do have the better kicker. Love you, Brandon Tyler McManus. Anyone have any bold predictions for this game?
I got one.
All right, go for it.
Okay. So I said the Broncos will get 27 points, and I think they should run the hell out of the ball. So my bold prediction is Royce Freeman and Lindsey will each get 100 yards rushing.
That'd be sweet.
All right, anyone else?
I think the actual complete opposite. I don't think Case is going to be able to finish. Like, he might still have an interception or two, and it's going to keep the haters alive. But I think he's also going to make a statement and drop at least 300 yards passing and be able to move the ball, make completions, and make smart throws. Hopefully, in the red zone, it turns out to be the end zone instead of an interception. And I think that's been the key factor for Case over these last 3 games. I don't think he's as bad as people think. I think it's just the table or the situations he's thrown into have been miscalculated, but were good reads initially, and he's just a fraction of a second off. And that's, I mean, he's 2-3 throws from everyone saying how great of a quarterback he is and how smart John Elway is for signing him for such little money of what he's worth.
Right, $18 million for a quarterback.
We're 3 throws away from that. Like, however, those, if they don't turn into picks, sorry.
How many touchdowns do you think we'll get?
300 yards passing and 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
Okay. Anything from you, Mr. Miles?
Yeah. Our secondary needs to come alive.
Yes, please.
Only have 2 interceptions on the year thus far. I think that we are going to double that.
Nice.
We're going to get 2 this game, which on top of that, kind of to make it a little bolder, is the fact that Mahomes hasn't thrown a pick yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. 13 touchdowns, no picks. So at least 2 interceptions and 2 sacks.
Does
right.
Yidam get one of those interceptions?
No, I say it's I would probably say
Stuart Harris.
Honestly, I want to say a safety just because of them targeting Kelsey. So
I bet Simmons will be on Kelsey.
I would love to see a Sua Cravens interception.
Yes.
Is he back?
I don't know if he's back, but I'd
that's
love
right.
to see that.
We're dying
I think
to see that.
Chris Harris is getting a pick.
My bold prediction kind of aligns with yours. I think we're going to get a pick 6.
Cool.
I do not know who. I'm not going to predict who.
Bradley
but I
Chubb.
think our defense will get a pick 6. And I'm also
Echo.
going to make a really, really, really bold prediction and hope that if I put it into the universe, it helps it come true. Garrett Bowles will have no penalties.
He was tackling fools
That would
last
be a
week.
first.
This dude had more tackles than Von Miller.
Garrett Bowles, no penalties. I know you can
That
do
is
it.
the boldest
I know
of the
you can do
boldest
it.
predictions. Oh my gosh.
He's
live
a
on
big
the
guy
edge.
with really large hands. It's really hard to open
to not
that.
hold. All right, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Here's hoping next time around we have some very happy news to share with you about the Denver Broncos. Cheer your team on. Let's all hope for the best, and we will hit you guys up next week. Thank you.
Go Broncos!
Peace.
Kudos.